Oh, so let's talk about Animal Farm. We read chapter 1 through 4, and let me do the introduction for the novel. So, George Orwell is the author of the book that we previously read. What was it? Oh, yeah, 1984. Yeah, and then he wrote this novel. Not just to tell about the beautiful farm stories of animals, but it was actually a satire of a historical event, especially the Russian Revolution. Uh, and then his purpose of writing this novel is for us readers to reflect on the dangers of totalitarian regimes. What is a totalitarian regime? What is totalitarianism?
전체주의.
전체주의. What is 전체주의, everybody?
Like give all the money like equally and work together and have all the money.
Oh, I mean, that's like the concept of communism. So there could be like good communism and like bad communism. Actually, in reality, there was only bad communism. But then the idea of communism is very good. But totalitarianism is how is it different? Yeah.
To sacrifice individuals for the bigger.
Yeah, for the bigger crowd, yeah. So in totalitarian regimes, the personal interests are sacrificed for the common good and then for the mass. And in that process, a lot of human rights are violated, as in the case of Russia and also North Korea, right? So in totalitarian regime, everybody has to follow the authority, the most of the time the tyrant. Yeah. So he wanted to warn us the dangers of the totalitarian regimes and the possible corruptions. And it starts out as a revolutionary ideas, but then they start corrupting and degrading over time. Yeah. So he is using the simple farm animals, but then the story is not simple. He wants to tell a deeply complex, politically fully charged story that can even resonate with modern readers. Okay, so he wanted to give a caution about the dangers of power and how the power can be misused and manipulated. Okay, and then the author George Orwell, who we are already familiar with, he is an English man. But then, if he spent his time only in England, he might not have been able to see the mistreatments that the subjects of the colonialism were having at that time. Luckily, he spent a lot of time abroad in India, and while serving as a police officer in Burma, he witnessed the harsh treatments that the Burmese were having under British colonial rule. And then there could be like two possible paths for the citizens of the imperialist country. The one person could be very proud of the imperialistic power of his own mother nation, and the other path could be like be ashamed of how the mother nation could impose such brutal treatments to the people of foreign countries without any right. And then he chose the second path, and then in those foreign countries, he saw social injustice and totalitarianism and an abuse of power, and he started developing these ideas that he wanted to write the novels that warn us about the injustice. That's what he did in 1984. And in Animal Farm particularly, he wanted to warn about how like revolutions could be so ideal in the beginning, but then it's very easy for the revolutionary ideas to degrade and then eventually repeat after the oppressive structures that they wanted to overthrow. So in this case, the animals, they started the rebellion against the owner of the farm, but then who is like sort of changing and then degrading into more like tyrants?
Pigs.
The pigs, right? Yeah, and then they're like justifying themselves. We are the leaders. So we need more resources. That's why only the apples and then the milk are only reserved for us, right? So revolutionary ideas at the beginning, they can be really ideal, but then in the hands of men, always corrupt. Power always corrupts in the hands of men. So that's why we need like a meticulous system to prevent the manipulation of the power. Yeah, so as I said in the beginning, the historical context was Russian Revolution of 1917. So before this revolution, Russia was a monarchy and it was ruled by a king. It was ruled by a Tsar, Nicholas II. But then under Nicholas II, the farmers and then the ordinary people, they were suffering from hunger and famine. That's why they started the revolution, and it was a revolution for the people, by the people, and it was beautiful. The idea was beautiful in the beginning. And then the leader, Lenin and Trotsky, they promised equality for everybody, for every Russian after overthrowing the monarchy. I mean, Lenin was good, but then the successor, they started diverging from the original ideas. So Stalin, he is the most infamous dictator from the 20th century, and then he seized control and he started a brutal totalitarian regime. So once a person takes power, he starts like justifying things, you know. And then that's what he did. So in Animal Farm, we're going to see how the revolutionary ideas of the animals are betrayed by the people, by the animals that hold power. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's about it for today for introduction. And then we're going to talk about grammar concept.
If I